Yeah. Yeah, this is a beauty. Oh, hey. How you doing, fellas? It's your boy Meta, coming to you from the Metaverse, wrestling representing SPW, Singapore Pro Wrestling, and you're watching Wrestle Geeks.
Welcome, everybody. We're changing up the format of the channel for a bit here. We're going to try something, see how people like it. This is going to be me and Jeff's weekly talk video where we literally just talk about whatever we feel like talking about, no restrictions. Going forward, we're going to be doing recap videos for individual promotions. Once a week, getting you caught up for the next show. I would like to give a shout out to Meta. Thank you very much for that intro video. It was awesome. And also, I want to thank Kris Clevett for helping us out with the nameplates. And he's working on music for us right now. We'll have a nice short little intro song, just a little something to play for you guys. So thank you very much to Kris as well. I'm your host, Trevor Firth. This is my co-host,
Shady, Jeff.
And how's it been going for you, man?
Pretty good, honestly. I'm just ready to get into this random talk right now.
Yeah. So one thing I know we both wanted to bring up was just, I know it's a little while ago now, but GCW Fight Forever.
Yeah. I didn't watch all the event because of the simple fact, 25 hours or 23 plus hours,
25-hour event total. Yeah. So,
yeah.
But of course, yeah, I didn't watch it all either, but it has to be brought up. It was an amazing, amazing show. Just the concept and just pulling it off, a 25-hour stream, turns out that has to be a record for a wrestling show.
Yeah, I just want to start off by saying, I've seen a lot of matches in my time. Brett and Sean, Brett and Austin, Benoit and Eddie, Benoit and Dean Malenko, Eddie Guerrero. The list can go on and on.
Oh, yeah, incredible matches.
The Leo Rush match, that is one of the most hard-hitting matches I have seen in a very long time.
Right? Leo Rush versus Blake Christian, and what was essentially, they called it a 2 out of 3 falls, but it was basically a 3 stages of hell match.
Right.
And, oh man, it was insane. Then it was the opening match.
Yeah.
Of the event.
Yeah, I mean, I'm watching these two guys, and they're throwing haymakers.
Oh, yeah.
They are throwing haymakers. The entire match, they're throwing haymakers at each other.
They're not holding back at all. And, the first fall is a hardcore match. Second fall was supposed to be a red door match, but they screwed up. They went through a regular door, and the ref called it. Whatever. They kept going.
I kind of like that too, because anything that can go wrong probably will go wrong. You just keep going with the flow, honestly. So I like that a lot.
Their first, they had a screw up in their first match of the night. So, I mean, at least they got it out of the way.
Right.
And then the third fall was the casket part.
Yeah, that one was pretty cool because you had to get them up onto a stage to put them into a casket. It just wasn't, you roll them to the outside, you actually have to work to get them into a casket, which I liked a lot.
And Leo Rush's body and face paint was unreal, man.
Yeah, absolutely. And I didn't know that he switched his name to the Blackheart either until I saw the show.
I think I don't really follow GCW that much, but I think this is his first time doing the Blackheart. Blake Christian brought it out of him, kind of thing.
That's awesome.
Great blow-off story, man. It was incredible. Yep. And that was just the opening match.
Yeah.
Do you have, I want to give a shout-out to this kid called Braden Lee. I'd never seen him before. Kid comes out in an old school 70s windbreaker. But when he takes off that jacket, man, I'm like, oh my god. That he's jacked. And he's so
that
stable.
Was a surprise. That was a huge surprise.
Every single time he lifts somebody up, every time he goes for big moves, his legs don't even shake, man. That's awesome.
Yeah, absolutely.
I watched him against Byron Reed and Shane Mercer, and both matches were incredible. Now, something that I heard about that I haven't seen yet. Apparently, he had a match on Impact Explosion against Sami Callihan.
Is there any footage of that?
You'd have to go on Impact Plus to get it.
I might have to see that match, honestly, because don't everybody sleeps on Sammy and all. It's like, oh, he's just a hardcore wrestler and all. Like, no, if Sammy has the right opponent or the right partner to work with, the guy can actually put on one hell of a match. He knows how to wrestle, like do the chain wrestling, and he knows how to handle himself in that ring.
He's a real wrestler that chooses to death, that likes doing deathmatch style stuff and likes doing over the top theatrical stuff. That's all.
Absolutely.
Good on him. I love Sammy's stuff. But
as a matter of fact, another thing about Sammy is up at Legacy Wrestling, there was a small promotion up in Pennsylvania. My buddy used to run it. And Sammy actually did a seminar up there.
Oh, that's cool.
And yeah, that was really cool. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to make it because I had actually had a cold that I couldn't kick, so I couldn't make it. But damn, I wish I was there for that seminar.
I can imagine, man. Oh my god.
But Legacy was a lot of fun, man. I'm sure you never really heard of it. It was called Legacy Wrestling. It took place up in Manheim, Pennsylvania. He was like all the way like in the outskirts, like by Lancaster and Lancaster. He went back and forth between Lancaster and Manheim for the most part. He would do one like in the net, and then there was another place called Spooky Nook Arena. That place was incredible. So with Spooky Nook Arena, they actually had like a whole like gymnasium and all, plus an arena. And they built a hotel in there too.
Oh wow!
So you had all that, You had rock climbing and all sorts of stuff in there.
Oh, that's cool.
Yes.
I have 3 other matches specifically that I watched that I want to bring up, and one of them is the Iron Man match. Do you have any other matches that you thought Fight Forever, or anybody any specific wrestlers or anything you want to bring up from it?
We'll just go right into Tony Deppen just because me personally, I first noticed him in Legacy Wrestling. So it's kind of cool to talk about Legacy Wrestling, and then here's all these guys like Leo Rush. The first time I ran the Leo Rush and Cedric Alexander, they were on the same show at a Legacy event, and I was in the ring, running the ropes and all, and running into the turnbuckles and all. And I go to both. I'm like, listen, guys, I went into the one turnbuckle over there. You might want to be careful there because it's a little lopsided. You don't want to hit it wrong and mess your back up. They're like, oh, thanks a lot. We will appreciate that. So
you want to know that going in. So the Iron Man match was for the Synergy Pro Championship. Defending champion is Jordan Oliver. He's a member of Injustice on MLW, so I'm familiar with him. I was not familiar with Tony Deppen before this match.
I most certainly was. Oh boy, was I ever! Because, like I said, I've been a fan of his for a very, very long time now. Got his T-shirts, took pictures with him, and all. Watched his match with Matt Tremont. There was a no holds barred match with Matt Tremont that he had. I watched him against Killer Cross in the Indies. So.
Oh man. So for me, like Jordan Oliver though. Never really stood out. Like I saw like the kid's good. Kid's definitely got potential, you know what I mean? Like, but he never stood out for me on MLW. Maybe it's the gimmick. I don't know. But man, oh man. He stood out after this.
If he did not impress you in this match, then
oh man. No, this was insane. After 40 minutes, somebody finally gets a fall.
Right.
And then they keep going. And it ends at 3-3.
Yes.
Jordan Oliver is like, no, I ain't having any of that shit because this is his first title defense. He's like, no, I'm not winning my first title defense because of the championship rule, right? So he's like, I can go another hour. Let's do this. And then so they wait a little while, and like the commentators are like, wait, what is this gonna happen? And like. I don't know if this was planned or not, because the show did go for 25 instead of 24 hours as well.
Mm-hmm.
And they wait a little bit, they eventually get permission, and they just go another hour.
Yeah, I'm hats off to both of them,
Hour.
honestly. It's been a very long time. Honestly, I don't know if you know like any backstories to like older wrestling, but like in 1905 and stuff, matches used to go on for like 4 or 5 hours long, and the show wouldn't be done
Yeah.
until wee hours in the morning and all.
And the
a
first
lot
40
of
minutes
Yeah,
of
sure.
this match made me think of that era, because
Yeah.
the first 40 minutes of this match was straight up mat wrestling, technical
Yep.
mat wrestling.
Yep,
And so, yeah,
absolutely.
they definitely shouted out to that old school era of Iron Man matches, or
Yeah.
of matches, period, I should say. But
Absolutely,
no, this
they
thing was
did.
insane, man. This thing was so insane. It ends with Deppen. It ends with Oliver at 7, Deppen at 6. Deppen has Oliver in a submission hold, and he keeps swapping from wrenching the submission and elbowing Oliver in the face over and over and over again. And Oliver holds out for like 40 seconds until the time runs out.
Jesus.
Like, he looks like he's knocked out, but the ref just
Right.
doesn't want to. You can see it. He looks like he's practically knocked out, and the ref just doesn't want to call it. The ref wants the time to run out at this point.
Right.
It was insane.
That's a good way to keep the story going too. The ref screwed Deppen.
I mean, I don't know anything about Synergy Pro walking into this, but I'm curious about them now.
Yeah.
The other two matches I want to talk about are on the last segment of the show, the World on GCW.
Mm-hmm.
One of them is Joey Janela versus Everett Connors.
Okay.
I'd never seen Everett Connors before. Janela apparently had no real clue of who he was either.
Janela, I'll be honest with you, I saw him one time again at Legacy Wrestling. He was against my buddy Eddie Smooth. So that's the only time I actually saw him wrestle. And I'll be honest, I wasn't a big fan of Joey Janela, because every time he would do a move, he would just yell out, "I'm a bad, bad boy." And I kind of didn't understand why he kept saying that over and over again. I understand it's his gimmick and all, but do you have to say it over and over again after each move you do, whether it's an Irish whip into a corner followed up with a clothesline? I just didn't understand it.
Oh, he was trying to make everybody hate him that night for sure. But like, this match is a classic GCW insanity balls to the walls match.
Okay.
They're both drenched in they're both covered in blood afterwards. And they're both sitting in the ring, and Everett Connors gets the win.
Okay.
And Janela
over Joey Janela.
Over Joey Janela in GCW.
Wow.
So Janela gives a promo after this, and this is why I wanted to bring it up, because of the promo.
Okay.
Janela gives a promo saying that he had no idea who the kid was, but if Ricky Shane Page and everybody at GCW said that he was the next big thing and that Joey should fight him, that's all that mattered to him.
Wow.
And after that match, Joey says that Connors woke something up in him. Joey hasn't been feeling like himself for the past little while. He went over to AEW. He's been feeling a little lost since he got there. But mostly because he was worried. But now he knows that GCW has a new bad boy piece of shit indie king to keep it going. So he's passing the torch to Everett Connors, right? That is cool, man.
Yeah. Really cool.
If you've been watching Janela on AEW lately, he's been fired up. Like,
awesome.
It's true. That woke something up in him. Like, that match against Darby for the TNT title this week was absolutely insane. I loved it. So,
nice.
I'm happy.
Another match that Joey Janela had that I liked a lot, believe it or not, I think it happened in On Point Wrestling. Okay. Maybe it was in Jersey, but it was actually Janela versus Tony Deppen for their belt.
Oh, okay.
So nice. I don't know if there's footage of that match anywhere, but if there is, you damn sure that I'm going to be checking it out. It happened a while back, but I haven't heard anything about there being any footage or anything like that. But, you know, YouTube, I guess, or something.
Yeah, well, it's probably there somewhere.
Yeah.
And the last match I want to bring up is for the GCW Championship. Ricochet Page versus Blake Christian for it's a title versus career match.
Okay.
And man, I've only watched Ricochet Page wrestle a handful of times, but I'm a huge fan because of his storytelling and because of his the way his mind works, man. Wrestling psychology. Like
that's big. Like that's big with me.
Oh.
If you know how to do psychology and all, like if you have those fans from the time you walk out there to the time, you know, you walk out, then you got it, you know?
You talk to a GCW fan, they're gonna tell you, you know, RSP is a piece of shit. Like they all hate him. And that's exactly what he wants. And it's great. It's perfect. But like we get a moment. This is supposed to be like nobody interferes, right? But like RSP's boys come out, and then you have what was it? You have Justice, Mance Warner, and Nick Gage. Nick Gage comes off a commentary.
Really?
And starts walking down the stairs. You have those three walking down the stairs to get RSP's boys to get the fuck out. You know? And I loved it. But Ricochet Page wins by raking the ref's eyes while he's in a submission. And then he taps out. So Blake Christian lets go. Because he's like, oh, I won! He tapped! But, you know, like the ref didn't see it, so RSP just steals the win right there, and Blake Christian's GCW career is over.
Wow.
But again, when one door closes, another opens, because he was on Impact this week, and he is going to be in the X Division Triple Threat Revolver match for the number 1 contendership.
Wow.
Nice.
He's
in the contendership match this Saturday at No Surrender. Like,
it's incredible.
Insane, man. And he deserves it. He's that good. But yeah, no, like Fight Forever was just the idea, everything they did. GCW like needs to be congratulated, and like there's a bunch of other promotions involved in this too, of course. So absolutely amazing accomplishment on their end.
Yep, absolutely.
Other than that, I know you want to talk about Lio Rush in general.
Yeah, I mean he's absolutely incredible, and I had stood by this, you know, ever since they let him go. They did him a favor by letting him go, honestly. And what I mean that is when he got out of Vince's organization, that was the biggest favor they could have ever done for him.
I agree. There's a handful of guys like that, but Lio Rush is the one that rings truest for at this point. I mean, the guys
as a matter of
in New Japan. Oh, sorry, go ahead, man.
I was going to say, as a matter of fact, you know, I could think of a couple, but 2 off the top of my head, and I really wish he didn't resign, but Cesaro needs to get out of there because he's been treated like garbage for too long. I mean, the guy is so talented and still keeps getting held back and all. I mean, when you're put with Paul Heyman and Heyman still can't get you over, you know, that's a problem with creative. Not on the wrestler, that's a problem with creative.
Honestly? Could you imagine Cesaro returning to Ring of Honor? Like
him and Ricochet both. I'm so glad Ricochet decided not to resign.
But like Ricochet and Cesaro, let's say both those guys went to Ring of Honor, all of a sudden, Ring of Honor is a talking point again.
Yeah, absolutely. With those two guys, absolutely.
Because unfortunately, it's an afterthought right now.
Yep.
And it has a beautiful, amazing history, amazing lineage. And yes, AEW would not exist without Ring of Honor. Absolutely true. All In would never have happened without them. But this is where we are today.
Right.
And that's all there is to it.
Now, question for you. Is Bully Ray still in Ring of Honor? Because I know he was there for a while. I just haven't heard much about him.
I think he still works in the backstage. Like, if he does, he's only backstage now.
Okay.
Boy, I'm really not sure. I'd have to check that out.
Yeah, I'm not sure either. That's why I figured I'd ask you.
I haven't been following Ring of Honor. That's the thing. Like they
Well, that's
they
because
have
the days of
nobody.
Punk
There's
and Joe and Daniel or Brian Danielson, those
yeah.
days are over, and Ruckus and all, like those days are far behind us.
It's like Jay Lethal's great. Jonathan Gresham is great, but
Mm,
I don't know. It doesn't. I think I was really sour on how badly they
mm,
botched Women of Honor as well.
yeah.
I'm really sour on that. So that could be one of the main factors why they lost a lot of faith with me.
I
But
mean, Gresham is one of the best wrestlers out there right now, overall, in my
yeah,
opinion.
probably.
Easily.
He's one of the only reasons I would watch ROH right now, if not the only.
I mean, don't get me wrong, Jay Lethal is awesome in the ring too, and the promos that he done, I still go back and watch the Flair imitations that he did and all, just because they were so good and on point.
True. But Leo Rush recently, this week,
Mm-hmm.
I haven't watched it yet. I'm going to be watching it probably later on, but Leo Rush won a title unification match for his MLW World Middleweight title
Mm,
versus the Laredo Kid for the AAA World Cruiserweight title. So,
Jesus.
and it's a unification. So that's like AAA, MLW. We already knew they had this partnership,
Right.
but this title, I like the idea of unifying this belt. Like, this is something that they needed. They needed a
Absolutely.
unified title like that. It's cool. And now
Absolutely.
that this opens doors and questions. So Leo Rush is on New Japan Strong as one of their top faces. Leo Rush is
Whoa, wait a second. Wasn't he just a heel in that Fight Forever match that we were just talking about?
that was the Blackheart though. That wasn't
Right.
that wasn't the Moth, Leo Rush.
Wow.
That's what I'm telling you, man. Leo Rush is
Wow.
I'm cool with that. I don't care. In GCW, he was pushed to that limit. The storyline is
Okay.
there for it. And in New Japan, he teams up with TJP and oh my god, another new guy that I forget his name, something Ross or Ross something. I feel bad, but he's also very good. He teams up with those guys a lot, and he was actually the one that was. They were in the ring when Moxley showed up. Actually, they were the faces that had just lost the Bullet Club when Moxley showed up to beat on Kenta, a New Japan Strong.
Okay.
But with AAA having a deal with AEW and with New Japan Strong specifically having a deal with AEW, MLW doesn't have a direct deal with AEW, but Brian Pillman Jr. is on both brands.
Right.
You know what I mean? And there's the AAA connection, so it's like, could Leo Rush show up technically, you think, in AEW at some point soon?
Absolutely.
That would be sick.
I mean, we've already seen the Forbidden Door wide open. You have Impact, you have New Japan Pro Wrestling, you have AEW. I mean, that Forbidden Door has been kicked wide open, so the sky's the limit now. And in all honesty, I'd have anybody and everybody come in there because it's something different,
Yeah.
So
And
have Leo Rush, have Kenta, have Jay White, have these guys come on over,
Well, then you can also do like a little teaser for this week's Dynamite recap. But you have Sammy saying he needs a break from this place, staring at AEW in general, meaning AEW in general, right? So what if Sammy shows up in Impact? What if
New Japan?
Or New Japan? What if Sammy could show up with one of these partnerships, and that'd be great too for him.
Yep.
And it feeds his storyline at the same time.
Absolutely.
He needs to rediscover who he is as an individual. So he's going to another promotion to do that.
Yep.
Before coming back and dealing with MJF and Jericho. That's beautiful. Right. Love it. Like, oh man, I'm excited.
I'm just hoping they don't drop the ball with him, just have him off TV for a few weeks and all. MJF turn his back on Jericho, Inner Circle jumping Jericho, Jericho all alone, then bringing Sammy right back and, teaming him up with Jericho to take him on. I'm really hoping they don't drop the ball like that because gimmick, that storyline's been done so many times.
Well, like, unless Sammy actually needs time off for something,
Mm-hmm.
I really doubt that he's just going to go home and not get used.
Right.
Because
Right.
Sammy's not that kind of guy. Sammy's going to be like, okay,
Right.
well, can I take indie bookings? Can I go here? Can I go there? Like,
Mm-hmm.
he loves the work.
Yes.
He loves the hustle of
Yep.
wrestling too. So
Yep.
there you go. You know he's going to be at it.
Right. But sometimes they drop the ball with a guy like that, especially when they're
It can
red
happen.
hot. And it's not just Vince who does it. It's all companies
Oh,
that
yeah,
actually do
everybody.
that. Sometimes they miss that mark, and just
Absolutely.
drop the ball.
In my opinion, AEW screwed up by not signing Tasha Steelz, and now she's half of the Impact Knockout champions, Knockout Tag Team champions.
Mhm.
So I mean,
Yep.
like, there you go. Like, you never know, man. You never know.
Right. Absolutely.
So, and then like you watch Dark and Dynamite, and you have like Nick Comoroto, which I know you I know you love that guy, the big caveman guy.
Yeah. Yeah. Very cool.
So yeah,
Very
you got
cool
Nick
in the ring.
Comoroto, and you got like Cesar
Yep.
Bononi teaming up with Peter Avalon now, and like these guys are getting used. These guys are on Dynamite, on Dark, getting spots. So it's really fun.
Do you remember a guy on there? His name was Grimm or Mr. Grimm. He was on AEW Dark a while back.
Maybe I have issues, but
okay. So a while back there was a guy named Mr. Grimm, and he was on AEW Dark, and
okay.
it was really cool to see him on there because the last time that I saw him, I refed for him, and he was against AR Fox in a casket match for the Legacy title.
Oh, nice.
Yes.
Man, this promotion sounds like it has some really cool stuff. I'm definitely gonna have to check it out.
Yeah, it was awesome. My buddy did one hell of a job with it, honestly. They actually had a partnership with CZW.
Legacy had a partnership with Combat Zone?
Yep. Yes, they did. They had TJ show up. That's why TJ was there. Matt Tremont was there. Because they had a partnership. So sometimes, TJ's guys would be there and invade and all. You had Devin Moore showing up.
Nice.
Yeah, Joey Janela, Devin Moore. God, who else showed up? Laszlo, Laszlo Arpad.
Okay. I've heard that. Okay, I've heard of it.
Lot. Yeah, I think that's what it is. Laszlo Arpad, big Hungarian guy who was with Hollywood's Finest, my buddy Eddie Smooth and Andy Weinberg as their manager.
Okay.
So, yep. So there was a lot of guys that came out of Legacy Wrestling that, a lot of people have heard of. Even guest appearances with Sandman, Mickey James. Mickey James actually won the women's title against Veda Scott.
Nice.
Solo Darling was up there. So there was a lot of there was a lot of names up there. A lot of big names.
I'm hoping like we can start doing some of that over in this area once the borders open up, you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's your downfall right now is the borders being shut on you, because a lot of people go from the U.S. to Canada, Canada to U.S., Canada to Japan, Japan to Mexico, Mexico to Canada, Mexico to the U.S., U.S. Mexico, all over.
Man, we had Meta all set up to come to come here in the Maritimes, and he was going to wrestle for us at CEW. So I mean, like, it is what it is. It's unfortunate.
Up for bookings for the U.S. too, because the U.S. is right down the road from you.
Exactly. He was trying to work himself a little tour, and like, it is what it is. But like, once we can, we're getting Meta over here. That's for sure.
Yeah, I hope so, because that'll help you guys out, plus help him out to get recognized over here in like the North American area.
Yep. I mean, hey, what would it would mean a lot to a little Atlantic, like maritime Atlantic promotion saying like we have a legitimate Singapore pro wrestler.
Yeah. Absolutely, because then that'll leave people open up the questions. Well, if you take this guy, does that mean this guy can come over, and then this guy? All it takes is
Exactly.
one. All
Exactly.
it takes is one, because you know the first time NXT signed somebody from like Japan or something like that, it was Nakamura. And then you've seen like ZSJ in the cruiserweights, and
Okay.
you've seen all those guys like Ibushi, I think his name is,
Yeah.
or I think he
Kota
was.
Ibushi, Zack Sabre
Yeah,
Jr.
Kota
Yeah.
Ibushi, yes.
I love Kota Ibushi.
Yes, my God. The first time I saw him was in the cruiserweight class. I'm just like, wow, I hope it's him and ZSJ in the finals.
Oh, that would have been
Because
great.
I'm a huge ZSJ fan as well, because he's unbelievable, especially the match with him and Walter, how Walter just chops the absolute hell
Oh.
out of him.
Oh, I know what
Oh
you're
my
saying.
God. I would never take a chop from Walter. I don't care if you pay me $5,000 plus a hotel suite. I am not taking a chop from
No,
him.
no. Cave in my
Nope.
chest, man. Oof. Well,
Yeah.
guys, we're gonna wrap it up and close it here. All sorts of stuff. GCW Fight Forever. Talked about Leo Rush and talked about Legacy.
Yes.
So thank you very much for joining us. And our next show will be on Tuesday morning, recapping last week's Impact Wrestling and the No Surrender event. And I will not be having Jeff with me on that one. I will be having a different co-host with me. I will miss you, Jeff. But Jeff will be back for our Wednesday episode where we recap AEW Dynamite and NXT. So we will be going over NXT pay-per-view as well.
Yes, because Takeover is on Sunday, so
Yeah.
I will have plenty of notes to go over on Sunday.
So big Tuesday episode, big Wednesday episode. Stay tuned, everybody. Thank you very much. Like, share, and subscribe. Comment down below with anything you'd like for us to talk about in the future on the show.